A generation ago, aquatic athletes Mark Tewksbury and Greg Louganis were Olympic champions, but they have as many differences as similarities. Tewksbury from Calgary, Louganis from California. Greg, a springboard and platform diver. Mark, a backstroke champion. Louganis won double golds in both Seoul and Los Angeles. Tewksbury picked up his hardware in Barcelona with a memorable finishing kick.
To the final 5 meters. Rouse and Tewksbury. It's going to go to the wall and on the wall. There it is. He's done it. Olympic record. The dream lives.
Their competitive drive propelled their respective teams to new heights and helped sharpen the athletic rivalry between the U.S. and Canada. Today, though, rivals no more. Mark Tewksbury and Greg Louganis are teaming up, promoting the cause of equality in sport with their own experiences as then closeted athletes informing their cause. They were speaking at a roundtable on LGBTQ inclusion in sport today at the University of Toronto, and the university has announced it is launching a sports and sexual diversity course as part of its Center for Sexual Diversity Studies program. Mark and Greg join me now live from the University of Toronto. Hi there.
Hi, Carole. Hi. Well, thanks. You did all our work for us. You're amazing. Go, Carole.
Oh, there's more to come. You're not off the hook that easily. Greg, let me begin with you. What's the significance of a course on sports and sexual diversity? What does that look like, and why is it important?
Well, it's important to open up the conversation, especially in a safe place, and so that people can be more open and also understanding. It's also important in the LGBT community. You know, even as a gay man, I mean, I know a lot about the G in the LGBT, but I don't know a whole lot about the L and the B and the T. So I have to learn the languages as well, and this is such a wonderful opportunity for young people to understand how to speak and what kind of language to use that's not offensive.
Yeah.
And some of the issues, obviously, that are impacting the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, what kinds of issues? Mark, what do you think should be taught and discussed in this course?
Well, it's so interesting. Even today, we've sort of peeled away layers. So we started talking about sexuality, and then actually that led to a discussion about gender, which led to another discussion about inclusion. So it's a complex layers of issues that really need to slowly be unraveled, which I think is why a course is so important. Even today, we're talking for about 6 hours, but it's not enough time to get through everything. So I think over a course of many weeks, you can really start to get into these issues and get a much deeper understanding.
Yeah. How far has sport come here in Canada in terms of acceptance, and in the United States?
Well, maybe Greg can speak on Canada, actually.
Yeah, actually, I mean, Canada's come so far, I mean, to have a panel discussion like this, and the biggest part of it is, you know, at the end of the day, we're going to be talking about solutions. How do we solve these issues? How do we solve these problems? We can recognize the problems, but what's the solution?
Yeah.
And interesting, Carole, just in the last week, both the United States and Canada, the Olympic committees have come together to look at issues of diversity. So we seem to be on a parallel course at the moment, both leading the way. Both the USOC and COC changed their charters after Sochi, or in the United States case before Sochi, to include sexual orientation in its non-discrimination clause. So lots of good progress in North America.
Are there still problems?
I think the day-to-day reality is still pretty tough, and it's interesting, you know, they're sort of a double-edged sword in different ends of the spectrum. On the men's side, there's still sort of a myth that there are no gay men in sport, especially the big professional sports. On women's side, it's more like, well, all women in sport are gay, which is also a gross assumption and misperception. So interesting issues and slightly different between men and women.
Yeah.
And also the solution of getting to, you know, the young high school coaches, you know, to get them, sensitize them about, you know, about the issues of their young athletes and how to deal with them, and also how to communicate with them.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of prejudice still, even in the younger benches, the younger leagues, if I can put it that way? Do you think a young man or a high school guy would be comfortable playing on the football team, playing on the ice hockey team, whatever, coming out and saying, I'm gay?
think it really depends on the environment, the coach. It came down a lot today to the coach.
Yeah, it comes down to the coach who, because the coach is who the kids are looking up to, and their reaction, how the coach reacts, is going to mirror what the kids are going to react.
And it's interesting, Carole, sometimes, the coach might suspect, but they feel awkward mentioning anything, and the athlete's waiting for the coach to say something before they can come out. So a lot of catch-22 situations that we're trying to break through.
Yeah, share, if you will, for those who are watching. I know you've talked about it before, but what was it like to be a gay man winning at the very peak, the top of your athletics, of your sport, and not be able to express that you were gay?
Well, I was out to my friends and family, and most of U.S. diving knew about my sexual identity. And so the diving team was a small team, so it was always a debate. Okay, who's going to room with the fag? Nobody wanted to room with the fag.
Really?
And so, a lot of times I had to room with one of the coaches, or there was usually one person on the team that was confident in their own sexuality, that they would room with me. And Kent Ferguson actually became my roommate towards the end of my career, and we had some really meaningful. He taught me to enjoy where I was. He really got me out, because for me at that time it was the pool, the hotel, pool, hotel, pool, hotel, and he opened my the blinders to be able to experience the cultures that I was going to, the countries that I was going to, and he was really a blessing.
And both Greg and I were very fortunate to have amazing coaches. It comes back to that. I had a woman in my life, Debbie Muir, that really created a space where I felt I could talk to at least one person, someone, and through that was able to connect to my best performance at the Olympics. But that's what we're talking about. It's up to sort of the leadership to create that environment for everyone to feel part of one unified team.
All right, and so this roundtable today was part of, as I understand, a series of steps that will be taken to make, have society show more respect in sport for LGBTQ. I hope I got all the letters in there.
You're good.
There's an I in there too.
Don't confuse me now, Greg. Don't confuse me. So, do you think the COC is on board now, that they've got, they're on their way to solving this problem in Olympic sport in particular?
Well, they're certainly taking the moral leadership in it. It's a problem that's not easy to solve. It's going to take some time, but I think the one team program that's going out to schools, having ambassadors speak, that's really where change happens, right? Is at that sort of playground, school level, and those kids coming up will have a different sort of outlook on what it means to be a person of diversity, what it means to be inclusive. I think that's going to make a big difference. So baby steps, but some really, really good ones.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. It was fun to talk to both of you.
Thanks, Carole. We got to hear that rinky-dinky, all that fun stuff too. We were dancing away. So tribute as well.
A tribute to Lois. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
We're speaking of the Olympic champions and ambassadors, Greg Louganis and Mark Tewksbury, here in Toronto.